The RBI Assistant Mains Examination 2020. Remember when this exam was supposed to happen in March 2020? Well, seems like we have waited an eternity, but finally RBI has come out with the date and it's on 22nd November 2020. I already had made a video on this, but I thought it was very old, so let's make another one to help you prepare for this examination with the limited time that we have right now. So let's get into it. Hi, this is Shupriyo. So let's begin with our analysis for the preparation strategy of RBI Assistant Mains Examination. Now what we have to do is, first let's just take a look at the general awareness section, because I'm sure that all of you are pretty confused about the GS section and I have been seeing a lot of contradictory statements about this section. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that all this analysis that I'm going to give to you, it is strictly for the RBI Assistant Mains Examination. So I'm not going to touch into the other mains examinations, and if you want a plan later on by which you can cover all the different examinations and the time allocations for that, let me know. I'll maybe make a separate video on that. So let's just talk about the first thing, the GS section. So what has actually happened is that this exam was supposed to be in March, right? So you might have already read some current affairs which was very old, but now because of the shifting of the date, we don't really have an idea about what's going to happen. This is going to be a very different year. Now many people are saying that you should actually prepare it from November of 2019 till the November of 2020. So November to November they want you to prepare, and I know that some people, they might be able to do that, but for the majority it is not possible, isn't it? So if you are somebody who can actually prepare a 1 year current affairs, then go for it. I am not going to stop you. But if you are among the majority of people who cannot do this, then what you can do is that once you finish off watching this video, go and prepare for the January and for the February current affairs. Now I don't want you to actually in-depth cover these 2 months, just have a brief idea, and because you had already read the current affairs for these 2 months, you do not really have to worry about it and you can read it a bit, and don't just spend too much time on these 2 months. Just see it a little bit lightly and you don't need to actually cover it in depth. And after that, what you are going to do, you are going to cover the primary months which I feel are going to be very, very important, and that's from 1st September. So September, October and till November 14th. So remember that till November 14th you have to cover, November 14, 2020. So these are going to be your 3 focus months that you are going to cover, and these keep at a very high priority. So September, October and November, all the different current affairs that you can manage, just go ahead and prepare it. Prepare from the MCQs as much as possible and cover as much as humanly possible. After these 3 months are actually covered, and at least you have to cover till October end, because November the current affairs are yet to come. So once you have covered at least these 2 months, then go for the June and the July and the August. So June, July, August, then you have covered September, October and November. So these months are going to focus, you are going to focus very, very importantly, and you are going to ensure that all the current affairs that you have studied, you can remember them properly, and just ensure that nothing is missed in all of these months. And apart from that, there is another month that you should be covering, which is March of 2020. Now remember, we don't really understand right now what kind of current affairs are going to come. So I will also tell you that go ahead and just have a note on the important budget numbers. So I had made a video on the budget numbers, you can check it out, and that will be enough for you to cover the budget numbers, so that you are just well prepared for any kind of eventuality. So finally, what are you going to cover? March 2020 you should be covering, June, July and August you should be covering, and September, October and up to November 14 you have to cover. So these are the months that you 100% have to cover. There is no other way around it. So just ensure that, and if you get time, then this Jan and Feb that I told you to start off with, you can just revise it a little bit. So it's not that important, you don't have to worry too much about it, but if you get time, then just look at Jan or Feb. And I know this is still a lot of current affairs to actually study, but it's still better than preparing for the full 1 year current affairs. And I'm trying to help you, I'm trying to minimize your work in the best possible manner. Now coming to the quant and the reasoning sections. Now it's very important that you prioritize, because this is a different kind of an examination. It has equal weightage of all the sections. So you have to think about this, and you have to focus on which section you want to actually be very, very good at. And this will depend upon your proficiency. So if you are somebody who is great at DI, data interpretation, then you can have a stronger quant section. And if you are somebody who is great at puzzles or at seating arrangements, then you can go for your reasoning preparation. Now, what am I actually telling you to do? I am actually telling you to prioritize which is the section that you are going to score a high number of marks in. So you cannot target both the sections, because right now you have a little bit over 5 weeks left, right? So you have to just target on the section that you feel has the most promise for you. So if you are targeting quant section, then ensure that data interpretation you are doing very, very well. Data sufficiency questions are also very important. Then the quantity 1, quantity 2 types of questions. Then you have the numerical series or the number series questions. Then you have the quadratic equations and the miscellaneous arithmetic questions that you have. So these are the main types of questions that you are going to have to solve. So ensure that at least 3 weeks out of this over 5 weeks that you have, you are devoting primarily to excel in the quant section. So try and arrange your time in that manner. Don't feel that I am going to become a great player in quant and in reasoning both. So in that way, both the sections are going to suffer. So you have to actually cut down on some other sections so that you can give time to quant, right? And similarly, if you are very good in the puzzles or the sitting arrangements, and you also have a very good hold over the machine input output, and you are also good in the coding decoding, and also in the logical reasoning, the critical reasoning questions, or also in the syllogisms, which sometimes comes but does not really come mostly in the mains examination, and the blood relations and the direction sense questions. So if you are actually versatile in these types of questions, then go ahead and keep your reasoning section very strong. So primarily focus on maximizing your scores in the reasoning section, because one section you have to actually raise above the average level. So you have to be excellent in that section. So that is the kind of thing that you have to think about, because we do not have a lot of time left. That is why you have to prioritize in that manner. Of course, this does not mean that you are not going to just focus on the other section. You are going to focus, but this will be your key section. This will be the section that you are actually very good at. And now coming to the next section, the English language section. Now this is very important, because once you see the structure of the examination, you are going to actually understand this, what I mean. So if you see the examination structure, English actually has the same weightage. So this is very, very interesting to see that 40 marks have been allocated to English, and this means that people who are really good at English section, they can really excel in this examination. So do not take it lightly. Each and every week, make sure that you are practicing the requisite number of English problems, so that you get a good opportunity to solve a lot of questions in the mains paper. And here another thing that you have to keep in mind is that the exam is going to run for 135 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes. So a long time you have to sit in that examination hall, and you have to actually just quickly answer all the questions, because there are a lot of questions. See, each section will be having 40 questions, and each section has 30 minutes. The primary 3 sections that you have, they have 30 minutes each. So this is quite interesting to note. This means that the difficulty level of each of the questions is not going to become monumental or something very difficult. It's going to be doable. So you have to manage your time very, very well. You have to keep your individual study sessions 30 minutes long, but the overall study session that you have to keep, that has to be around 2 hours to 3 hours. So ensure that when you are actually practicing, and not even in the mocks, when you are just practicing the sums, then you have to sit for at least 3 hours. So at least 2.5 hours to 3 hours, just sit together, and you just differentiate your different sections and allocate them individually 30 minutes, so that you can practice them properly. And of course, the section that is most important to you, allocate that section a little bit more time, and that is just fine, not an issue at all. So your reasoning will be having 40 questions, 40 marks, 30 minutes. English we already talked about. The quant section, 40 questions, again 40 marks and 30 minutes. So this is quite interesting to note, and you are not going to get a lot of time. So ensure that you can pick
the easy questions first and do them, because if you are wasting time on the questions that are very difficult, then the exam is over. You are just out of the race. So ensure that each of the sections you can hunt for the easy questions, and you can easily do that very fast, because the speed will be very important. Accuracy of course is always important, but speed also matters quite a lot in this examination. And GA section, of course, 40 questions, 40 marks and 25 minutes. So in the GA section, usually you are going to finish it within 15 to 20 minutes, and after that just take a little bit of rest, just give your eyes a break, and you can move to the next section. Remember that these are all sectional timings, so you will be locked to these sections and you cannot navigate out of it. So ensure that you are practicing in that kind of a manner, and I hope that your mock tests are allowing you to do just that. And then we come to the computer knowledge section. Now about the computer knowledge, how are you going to prepare? Well, I have actually designed around 222 questions over 2 videos I have made on this computer knowledge section, the MCQs that I have made. So go and check it out. They will be helping you immensely, both in the IBPS RRB exams and also in the RBI Assistant exam. So ensure that you go ahead and check them out. And in the description of this video, I have linked to a book. You can grab it if you want. I don't think books are really necessary for the computer section, but if you are just a little bit less confident, you can grab it. So 40 questions, 40 marks again, and 20 minutes will be given to you, and your target here, it should be 40 marks. So ensure that in both of these two sections, 40 plus 40, 80 marks that you have in GA and computer, you can get the maximum amount of marks. So if you are good in English and also in these two sections, then the paper really becomes very easy to you, and in that manner you can try and frame your strategy. And now coming to the mock tests. So the mock test, the best quality mock test, I have already linked in the description of this video, so you can go check it out. You can also get a discount, so you can just avail it. And of course, just ensure that you have 2 different companies mock tests with you, so that you can have a variety of questions. And at least if you have around 10 to 20 mock tests, then it is fine, you can go ahead and do them. And the mock test, so how are you going to actually prepare for it? Now I have already made a video on how you are going to analyze the mock test, so you can check it in detail. Just ensure that till 20th October you are actually following essentially the continuous mock test method. So till October 20, just ensure that every day you are giving a mains mock test. So that is going to be very helpful, and in these few days you are going to have a very good idea about your strengths and weaknesses, and you can play according to that. So ensure that you do that. And from that time period till 31st October 2020, what you can do, you can actually follow the alternate day mock test method. So if you are doing it like that, then you are getting a lot more time to find out where you are having a lot of issues, and you can fine tune them. So till 31st October you can do that. And from 1st November, what you can do, every 2 or 3 days just do a mock test. You can even follow the alternate method that I have already taught you, so you can go ahead and do it in that manner. And I am sure that by 18th November you are going to finish off with all your mock tests. So after this date, do not actually practice any mock tests, just do not have that much of a stress. After that date, you are just going to see your error log, where you have actually gone wrong and what are the things that you need to keep in mind. So one thing that I always say is that even after you have finished off with all your mock tests, just ensure that each day you are practicing all the different sections. So at least reasoning, English and quant, each and every day you should be practicing, because it keeps you in the flow. It's not necessary that you have to do mock tests to actually keep yourself in the flow. You can just solve some questions of each of these sections so that you are in the flow for the final examination, and just keep yourself stress free, because just giving the mock and then seeing your low scores can sometimes demotivate you. So don't be like that. Just ensure that you have done whatever was required, and you don't have to worry too much about that. And finally, you will be having a language proficiency test, so the LPT, and it is mandatory. So for people of you who have just applied from the Maharashtra region, because it was a very high number of vacancies, ensure that your Marathi is very good, because this LPT is not that easy. So ensure that, and I hope that by now you have had a lot of time to prepare for the LPT, so it should not be a problem for you. Just ensure that all the things that I have told you in this video you are following, and you are just diligently going about your time. There may be many people fighting for this examination, but there are very few who are actually planning, who are strategizing, and who are going about their preparation strategy in this kind of a manner. So I'm hopeful that you will be able to make it. I hope that you learned something from this video and that it was beneficial to you. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and share it with your friends. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, please click on the subscribe button and do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.